I recall the precise instant she instructed me to depart. The plane remained airborne, a goblet of wine in her grasp, her sibling murmuring venom in her ear like a serpent hidden behind silk. She avoided my gaze as she uttered the words, merely lifting her polished nails as though flicking dust from her cuff, and declared, upon touchdown, "Your belongings will be ready to go." The wine scorched my gullet, not from sipping, but from shame. That's how a decade and a half of devotion concluded, discarded at cruising altitude, not amid rough air, but through disloyalty. We hadn't always been this way. In the past, she gazed at me as kingdoms regard their initial cornerstone, as if I formed the base. I constructed her enterprise with my labor, my concepts, my restless evenings. The woman I wed was intelligent, driven, stunning, and untamed, yet she was penniless. I was the one who honed her disorder into tactics. United, we ascended. The initial agreement, the first workspace, the first fortune. Each block in her domain bore my imprints. Every triumph address she delivered echoed my phrases, even if she omitted crediting me. It didn't bother me. Affection blinds you to neglect. But her sister, Charlotte, she always despised me. Constantly hovering, constantly murmuring. A lady who flourished in darkness, envious of the crown her kin possessed but never deserved. For ages, she sowed suspicions, small pricks beneath the surface of our union. I noticed it. I disregarded it. I assumed family bonds outlasted rumors. I was mistaken. The treachery wasn't dramatic. It wasn't novel either. It started with minor fissures, her device flipping screen down, dialogues halting upon my entry, her glance appraising rather than faithful. The evening prior to the flight, I uncovered the ultimate spike. A message chain, terms distorted. Proof invented. My spouse accepted that I was diverting funds from the firm. Our firm, Charlotte's craftsmanship, every element meticulously built, every verification infused with sufficient reality to be toxic. And my spouse, ingenious. Merciless, my counterpart, opted to trust her, not me. That evening rest evaded me. The fury sustained my wakefulness, not fiery but icy, concentrated, and by dawn I possessed a scheme. I refrained from pleading when she dismissed me. I avoided debate when guards paraded me beyond staff who averted their stares. I permitted her to rob me of the position, the suite, the spot I sacrificed for. Because they assumed victory was theirs, and success breeds carelessness, I became quiet. Quietude is undervalued. It compels adversaries to occupy the emptiness with their clamor. They unwind. They presume the conflict has ended. While they toasted my banishment, I was repositioning the game pieces. Initially, I safeguarded the proof. Every document, every endorsement, every midnight transaction she and I executed across the eras. My duplicates remained whole. Charlotte had forged records. I held authentics. Next, I consulted the attorneys, softly, confidentially. My spouse imagined she commanded all, but the reality, the business was listed beneath a foundation I established. A foundation with provisions she never examined, because she relied on me for the minutiae. Her domain wasn't as unbreakable as she thought. Thirdly, I readied the decisive strike. Separation documents, not in defeat, as tactic. With stipulations that would immobilize holdings, reveal deceit, and pull Charlotte into the glare she loathed. I avoided haste. Endurance renders vengeance gratifying. A month afterward, the summons arrived. Her tone was frostier than before. "Have you pondered?" she inquired as though I were a pupil in timeout. I affirmed, and I entered her transparent workspace with a dossier in hand. Her sibling was present, roosted nearby like a scavenger. I set the documents on the surface. No utterances, merely quiet. My spouse extended her hand first, anticipating remorse. Her vision swept, and I witnessed the precise moment reality stabbed her. These weren't reunion forms. They were dissolution submissions, property halts, proof enclosures. Her mouth opened. No noise, just astonishment. Charlotte grabbed the documents, perusing quicker, her expression contorting into alarm. She began yelling prior to her kin inhaling. "You can't execute this. You can't." But I already did. The repercussions were swift. Legal experts swarming like predators, directors summoning urgent assemblies. News outlets murmuring fractures in the domain. The provisions I inserted ensured her holdings couldn't shift, couldn't conceal. Charlotte's counterfeit records were appended as signs of deception. For eras, she prospered in obscurity. Now the illumination scorched her existence. I didn't elevate my tone. The quiet accomplished it. The clash wasn't theatrical. It was precise. My spouse's gaze, formerly keen enough to slice metal, was edged with disloyalty. Not toward me, but herself. She comprehended she had been manipulated by the individual she vowed was kin. Charlotte howled until guards removed her. She menaced, swore, even charged at me momentarily. But the greater racket she produced, the further she plummeted. My spouse remained immobile. No weeping, no regrets, just quiet. She grasped too tardily what she'd discarded at cruising altitude. Ultimately, I refrained from boasting. Vengeance isn't about proclaiming triumph from summits. It's about positioning amid the ruins of treachery and realizing you didn't merely endure. You triumphed. I exited that transparent workspace the manner I ought to have left that plane. Composed, upright, unscathed. In my wake, their domains started to splinter. Charlotte the plotter hauled into litigations, shunned by associates. My spouse, formerly invincible, abruptly exposed. Not devastated. No, I didn't obliterate her. I merely delivered the outcomes she merited. And me? I maintained my quiet. I endorsed the concluding sheet. I shut the portal. Folks inquire if I rue it, if I yearn for her, if, in the hushed moments, I contemplate the lady who once viewed me as her base.